later than I scheduled. I actually had a cancellation. I wasn't planning on doing this until next week, but I thought I might as well do it now because I've had so much interest in magical manifestation checks. Before we get started, I am going to do a little bit of technology admin whilst I'm live. So multitasking never normally goes well for me. So I'm just going to see if I can grab a link and see if my notifications are working. It certainly looks like I'm live, so just bear with me just a second. And if you're here, do say hello. If you click the link which is above this video, it will show me who you are. Otherwise, I just get Facebook user. So let me just send this out to people who wanted text messages, and then this one to the people who wanted messenger messages. Get me, how techy am I? Let's just see if it works, eh? So let's send that one. Okay. No, that one did not work. So let's try and get rid of that. Bear with me, I won't be long. There we go. Look at that. Hopefully I didn't break anything and you can see me. So this training is all about, so I just got a message. Let me just check it's not someone struggling to get hold of this. Nope, it's me. My notifications are working. I'm getting a notification that I'm live. So this training is called Magical Manifestation Check Training. And I used to do this monthly and I kind of fell out of the habit. And I promised my coach I would do it. So I am doing this training live across several platforms. So say hello if you're here. And if you're watching this on replay, just put hashtag replay. Lets me know that you've seen it. Now, magical manifestation checks are the most powerful money spell I know. Now, I truly believe that magic has a real magical element and it also has a real practical element. Hello, Sue, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Hey, Melanie, nice to see you. So for me, as I said, magic is both magical and logical. That's me. Like, I do magic and I do logic. So this spell, I call it a spell because it is a process. It's a ritual. It's a spell. It's an intention. For me, that's spell casting. So hi, lovely. I can't see who you are. If you can click above this video, there's a link that says chat.restream.io. All that does is share your name, and that means I can see it, but otherwise it just says Facebook user. So if I don't use your name, that's why. Okay, hey lovelies. Okay, so magical manifestation checks. They are something that I learned about. I first wrote a magical manifestation check decades ago. And I can't even remember if it worked or not. And then I rediscovered Rhonda Byrne's work, and she talks about checks in the magic, and I believe it's also maybe mentioned in The Secret, which most of you may be familiar with. And she teaches how to manifest lump sums, and it does work really well. But I like consistency. I like a process as well as the magic. So I wanted to use magic checks in a way that consistently increased my income. And it was a bit of a long journey to start off with. As you know, with anything new that you try, especially any type of spiritual, magical stuff, there's a bit of trial and error. And what I learned was how to identify blocks, how to understand how big to go, how small to go in terms of the money, and how to manifest on demand. Now, when I say on demand, I don't mean instantly. Some of you I know, hi Lisa, some of you I know are amazingly powerful manifestors, fast manifestors. So you literally set an intention and bang, it kind of knocks you off your feet. Many of us, including me, are slower manifestors, but it doesn't matter what type of manifestor you are with these magic checks. They are going to work in one way or another for you. So I created, because all I could find on the internet was a PDF of a check, which is free. If you Google magic check, you'll find a free PDF. And that's how I started. And then I thought, I want a checkbook. I want this to feel more real, because the more it feels real, the more real it's going to be. And all of the checkbooks that I found weren't that nice. They were cheap, they didn't have perforation, they just didn't feel like a checkbook. So I created my own lovely checkbook, and those of you who have got them love them. Nice soft touch cover, and I'll share the details for this at the end of the training, so if you do want to have a set, then you can go and grab a set, but you can use a free PDF by just googling Magic Check. And they look like this, just so that you know. And I'll talk you through how to write one. I'll write one live with you, but let me tell you a bit of a story about how I've used them. When I quit my job, I was very scared, bottom twitchingly scared, I think would be safe to say. I quit my job. I had a plan, but I'm also, although I like process and logic, my plan wasn't that in stone. And I was probably generating, I was generating a similar amount of money to what I was earning when I had a job. And so what I started to do was write checks. So the first check I wrote was for £3,000 because I was earning less than that, and it didn't get paid. And then the second check the following month that I wrote was for £3,000, and it didn't get paid. And the third check that I wrote for £3,000 didn't get paid. However, what I noticed was that my income was increasing, and I didn't feel like I was doing anything different. So even though initially I needed to put in a bit of practice, I found that the checks were helping me. They got me, on the fourth month, I got that £3,000. It was a slow start, but I was increasing, okay? Then I wrote another check. I got really excited. I wrote another check for, I can't remember the exact figure, but it was probably like £4,500. Then it got paid, and I was like, whoa, this is a thing. So I did it again and again. But then there was a month where I got cocky. And this is all my learning, and I can share this with you to prevent it happening to you. So you have a much smoother process to making these checks work for you consistently. I set a really big goal with my money check. I set a really big intention, and I crashed and burned. I had my worst month ever, like in my life, not just since I'd quit my job. So that hurt. That really hurt. And I started to lose faith. And then I had a chat with myself, and I realized that actually the first three hadn't worked, but they had, because they'd increased my income, and then finally I'd hit it. Then I'd increased my income again and again and again. And what was this failure showing me? And what it taught me was how to understand how much to intend. Because you know what? We are capable of manifesting £1 billion right now. Okay? We have that capability. We are that powerful. However, what we also have is things like money blocks, stories, beliefs, and patterns that actually help us avoid doing that. It's a really, really clever thing. And I'm going to be going into more about that over the coming weeks. But what I realised is that these magic checks, they always get paid one way or another. They either get paid in money, they get paid in increase towards that goal, or they get paid in a way that shows you what you need to work on so that you can go again and make more money. So it's kind of like win-win. And they're not hard. You don't have to sit staring at them all day. You don't have to intend all the time. The process that I've created is very easy, but also very powerful. Okay, so anyway, back to a little bit of my story there. So I started out with £3,000 a month, and that was my goal, and I didn't get it. Well, in that first year, actually it was before the first year, I started in August with the checks. In July, I tripled that. So I was up to £9,000 a month. I mean, I wish I could say that was profit. Running a business has a lot of expenses, but I'd tripled my income. And I have continued to increase and increase. I've hit some more money blocks, but I've learned how to increase slowly and steadily in a way that works for my money block, stories, beliefs, and patterns, and continue to increase it to the point that I more than doubled that a couple of months ago. Now I'm working on consistency. So like this works. And there are loads of lovelies that have actually used magic checks in many ways, and they have worked beautifully for them. So if you've used the magic checks, let me know. Hi Stephanie, thanks for joining, lovely. Okay, so that's the story. I have written a list down because I have a habit of just talking for hours and hours. So I want to keep this as short as possible for you, but also give you huge value. So how do you know what number to put on your check? Well, what we need to do, and this can take some practice as well, what we need to do is to create a feeling of tension, okay? But not uncomfortable tension, not like, oh, that's horrible. Just enough tension, just the right amount of tension where you go, ooh, that's a little bit exciting. So when I first started and I wrote £3,000 as my goal, actually that was quite a bit high. I was earning, I think I was bringing in just over £2,000. So I kind of tried to increase it by another £1,000. That was a third. And what I've learned is that can be too much depending on where you are in your money work. So now when I set a goal for money, when I set a number, I look at it and I think, does that feel easy? If it feels easy, it's the wrong number. Does it feel impossible or a bit too soon? Yes, so that number's too big. Does it feel like that feeling of like, ooh, now? That's the tension feeling, that whole like, it could be doable. I could see a way to that, because a lot of this work is about your belief level. So if you believe, not just in your head, like I do, I believe I can manifest £1 billion, right? But my body and my soul and my energy aren't aligned with that. So I'm going to struggle to get that. So what you've got to do is you're constantly pushing the boundaries, but not too far that you freak yourself out, right? Because if I wrote a check for £1 billion now, even £1 million now, my mind, body, soul and energy would be like, well, my mind would be like, yeah, but the rest of me would be like, Eloise, I think you might be stretching a bit hard, because I've got money work to do. Like, I need to uncover that and heal it. Hi Rahani, nice to see. Oh, sorry, is that Rahani? Is that your first name, lovely, or is that, no? That's the name of your treatment, isn't it? So hello, hello. Okay, so yeah, so I've like got to work on that. I know I can do it here, but I'm not yet ready to know it here. And so that's what these checks help you do. And there you go. Stephanie says they sure do work. Yeah, and they're fun as well, aren't they, Stephanie? So figuring out the number, like I said, it's about getting the tension, but not so much that you switch off from it. If you have too big a goal, you will switch off from it. And that's where I think, you know, I'm a trained coach, and I'm often talking about goals. But when it comes to money, we have to be very careful. Karen, thank you, Karen. You've come up as Rahani Energy Healing. And it reminded me that I know that Rahani is an energy healing modality. Okay. So this is like trial and error, okay? If you can't feel that tension yet, which, like I said, does take practice, I now know when my checks are too high. I now know when to increase them. I now know when to hold them and go for consistency. Then I would recommend look at everything you've got coming in and just add 10%. That's a really good ballpark. 30%, 33% was too high for my first check and my second check and my third check. But as soon as my income started getting closer, the 10% seemed to work a little bit better. And you can play around with this. The key is like, this is a process. It's a magical process, and you're testing your connection, your intention, your manifestation powers. And sometimes it's not going to work, but it will still do some work for you. Do you see what I mean? You might find it increases, or I go, oh, how come I couldn't get over that? So don't, you know, this is to do with lightheartedly. The energy that you put into it, lighthearted, fun, love, joy, excitement, then that will make it a lot easier to manifest. Okay, so let me just check my list. Now, when we write the figure, so now I've told you that you need to figure out the figure. But when you write the figure, it's not about the figure. It's about the feeling. Okay, and I just touched on that there. So needing money attracts more need. Wanting money is often used to cover up a need. So you want more money so that you won't need it. Yeah? I want to manifest money so that I don't need to put it on my credit card. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So I recommend staying away from the words want and need. And I know that can be really hard, but if you intend need and want, you will get more need and want. What we want to do is put ourselves into a gorgeous state of desire so we can bring it towards us. Need and want has a junky energy, okay? But desire is a lovely energy. And there's a couple of ways that we can do that. I have a little ritual that many of you like to do, I know that. And what I do is I use the oil of abundance, which is wild orange. And if you want a little bottle of this, let me know. I can get these shipped out to you. Just drop it in the comments. Now, wild orange is, if you've ever been to Spain or Portugal, you will know that oranges are abundant. I mean, each tree has so many oranges, it looks like it's going to break in half. Orange is a beautifully abundant fruit, and when I went to Portugal, just seeing them all hanging from the trees, all plump and ready to be eaten, it's just gorgeous. Now, the thing about orange oil is that it connects you in two different ways, and not many oils do this. I love essential oils. Some oils connect you upwards to spirit, to God, to also whatever you believe in, your higher self. Others ground you, like I love vetiver for grounding. The wild orange actually does a bit of both, so it connects you into the earth, which is really important because earth is where the money is. I am told there is money nowhere else in this universe. Like, we're the only place that use it, so it's here on earth with us. Okay, and do you know what? That makes it really easy for us to manifest. It doesn't have to come very far because it's literally all around us. And then it just connects you to your higher self, God, who, whatever you believe in, just enough that you feel uplifted as well as grounded, which is a real, what's the word? I remember having a word of the day for this. Juxtaposition. It's like a real contradiction, a juxtaposition. It's lovely. It's lovely. So what I do is I put a drop on my hand and then I rub it. Don't do it if you're allergic to oranges, by the way. But you can use an oil burner or an oil humidifier. Just have a lovely sniff. Do you know, I said I put one on my hand. I didn't put a drop. When I sniffed my hands then, there was no scent. Now it's definitely there now. So, yeah, Karen, I'll message you after this, lovely. Okay, so I've had a little sniff and it's gorgeous. I did a talk last night and passed around wild orange and they just loved it. It's gorgeous. Then what I do is I also always make sure that I have a citrine crystal near me. Now, citrine is a very, very powerful form of quartz. It's known as the manifestation stone. It's a quartz, so it's very zingy. I wouldn't recommend having a quartz like this in your bedroom. It might keep you awake. But have it in your money corner. And if you haven't got a money corner, let me know and maybe I'll do some training on that for you. Okay, so I love citrine. I have citrine in my pockets, in my bags. I get mine from Claire Odell, who's in my group, or you can check her out on Facebook. She does Crystal's Magic and crystals. She looks after her crystals really, really well. They come to you very loved. So I love this, and I just hold it. And what this does is it reminds me to feel into that feeling of abundance. And then I think about the number. But I think through the number, what is that number going to create for me in my life? Stephanie loves citrine too. It's beautiful, isn't it? What is that feeling that you're going to get? What is this? what is this money going to enable for you, and how is that going to feel? You know, will you be free to enjoy your holiday if you can manifest the money before you go? Will you just be full of joy and love when you can make an extra payment on your credit card or your mortgage or whatever it is? Will it just feel wonderful being able to give whatever it is that you're planning to give? You know, and trust me, you don't have to give away the money that you manifest, just saying, but I know some of you do. So like feel into that feeling. Feel through the figure into the feeling. Okay? And this oil and the citrine will help you do that. So what I'm going to do now is go through the process of writing a check. And then I'm going to tell you how to use the check once it's done. So I've got my little book open here and I am on Mirror, so I'll read it to you. Where it says date, it's just like a normal check, but I know that some of you may never have experienced checks before, which makes me feel very old. Okay, but where it says date, I recommend writing these checks on the 1st of each month for the last day of the month. So I'm going to write this one for the end of October actually. So I'm going to just pretend that we're already on the 1st of October. So I will write on there the 31st of October. And by the way, I use a glamorous pen because this is all about how you feel. I want to feel glamorous. Sometimes I use my, what are they called? Quills. I've got a feather pen. Sometimes I do that. It often gets a bit messy because I'm a lefty. So 31st of October, we're imagining it's the 1st of October. Just write it on there. Okay? And then where it says payee, you write your name. So I'm going to write Eloise Burton. Yeah, because you're asking the universe to pay this to you. Even though you're writing it to yourself, you're paying it to you. And where it says pay to the sum of, I want you to write out in words the number. So I'm just going to pick any number. I'm just going to pick 5,000 just as an example for you. That might be a lot. It might not be a lot, okay? The number, please don't ever be overwhelmed by the numbers that I say or the numbers that I share. I was once where you were, okay? And I want to show you how this happens. And we've got people here that are earning tens of thousands of pounds every month and want to earn more. And we've got people who aren't earning anything and want to earn more. This will work for you whether or not you have an income. You can manifest money whether or not you have an income. And that often blows people's brains. I had an email the other day from a lovely lady who said, I literally don't generate income. And since I've been in your world, a grand total of 4 days, I've had a £1,000 day within 4 days. Like, and she's like, I can't understand it because I don't generate income. So this will work. Cassandra, yes, I'll send you a link to the checkbook, lovely. No problem. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to write £5,000. So I'm going to write it out in full. £5,000. Now, what we used to do on a check is be taught that what we must then do is line out any spaces so no one could add anything else. But don't do that just yet, because I'm going to tell you a little law of attraction secret that I forgot about for many years. And now that I do it, it's amazing. Then write your number here. And these checks I've created don't have currency. So if you're in the UK, you can write a pound sign. If you're in Europe, you can write a euro sign. If you're in Poland, it can be a zloty. If you're in the States, it can be a dollar, or anywhere else that uses dollars. So Karen, I'll send you that link too. So £5,000. And again, don't draw a line. If you've been taught to draw a line, don't draw a line. So I was writing checks like this and drawing lines, and they were getting paid, but I felt like I was limiting them. And there's a thing in the law of attraction where we're taught to say our intention and then say this or something better. Okay, so the way we do that on a check where there's not a lot of space is we write either next to here or under here or more. So £5,000 or more, and then draw a line. And where you've written your number, write a plus sign. So you're saying, hey, universe, I'd like £5,000, but if you want to send me more, I'm open to that. So I remember a time that I wrote a check. It was a big check because I had a lot of outgoings from my business that time. And this was the first time I was actually reminded by someone that this or more, this or something better trick was actually really, really powerful when it comes to the law of attraction. I wrote it, and I kid you not, that check got paid nearly double just by opening up, because the universe would be like, oh, but you wanted, in this example, you wanted 5,000, but I've got 10,000, so I can't send you that because you only asked for 5,000, right? If you add the plus sign and the or more, if the universe has got £10,000 for you and you've only asked for £5,000, it goes, there you go, and a little bonus too. So leave it open in that respect. And then on these checks, there's a line that says desire for manifestation. And this is where I want you to jot down the feelings that this money will give you when it arrives. So I'm going to write, just as an example, freedom, confidence, and enjoyment. These are the feelings. Okay. Whatever feelings you get. Okay. And you write them on there like that. Okay. So I know that's, hopefully you can work that out, because I think I'm mirrored. And then what you do, I'm not very good at filling in the stubs, as you can see, but it is worth doing it. So write the date, which is the date of the manifestation, 31 October. The amount, £5,000 plus. And the desire for, you don't have to write all of it in there, but just write one word, just to help you remember, what this check was for. Not that you'll ever need to, because you will always remember the checks that get paid. Okay. Yeah, Stephanie says it's a brilliant idea there, isn't it? Like adding on that plus or more, it opens it up. And when I do it, it really works. The universe really does, really does send you whatever it's got for you. Lisa, yeah, I will send you a link for the checkbook too. Okay, so now that you've written your check, how do you get it to pay out? Well, first of all, I've just got to show you this, because like this for me was what I wanted in my checkbook that no other checkbook does. Do you see how beautifully that just pulled away? It's got gorgeous perforations thanks to the wonderful Ainsley Chivers, the print lady, and it just feels so divine. It's even better than any checkbook I've ever had. It just pulls away so cleanly. Little things, right, ladies? Little things. Makes our lives much, much nicer. Okay, so how do you then get from this to money? Okay, well, many law of attraction coaches and books will tell you that you have to sit and meditate on it, that you need to say this like 1,000 times to yourself, that you need to look at it all the time. I'm going to tell you something completely different. I'm going to tell you to let go of the how. Now, this is the hardest thing, and I probably should have said this at the start when we were talking about the number. When you're trying to work out your number, don't try and reverse engineer it. Don't try and think, yeah, but I literally only have 4 clients or 10 appointments. How can I make that extra money? Don't do that. The universe, if you surrender the how, exactly, Stephanie, let it go and trust the universe. This is not about writing a check and then laying down for a month. What you need to do is let go of the how and let the universe show you. Okay, so the universe might come knocking on your door and all of a sudden you've got a new client inquiry that you weren't expecting, or you're invited to go and do a talk, and that might not look like extra money, but when you talk, 2 or 3 people are interested in working with you. Or it might look like money that you weren't expecting, because money comes from all different places. We often think when we write checks, and I do this as well, money has to come through my business and a specific part of my business. I've had to let that go, because money comes in by the path of least resistance. So, like, if you're focusing too hard on one part of your business or one part of your life, it's not going to flow to you easily. So just be open to it coming in all shapes and sizes and all sorts of directions. Money is all around you, okay? And also, here's another thing. Do not discount money that you didn't earn. And this I did for a long time. Like, I can't count that. I didn't earn it. I got given it. Refund from electric company doesn't count. All money counts. The universe will send you money via the path of least resistance, okay? So don't discount money. Don't say that doesn't count, that only that counts. Money is money. Okay. Now, actually, that reminded me of something that I should have said when I was talking about the number. When you write your number, it's really important that you know what you already have coming in. Okay, now I like to keep things really simple. So my checks are for money that comes into my bank accounts, and that includes my joint bank account with Mark. So I count his money because that keeps it simple for me. I count money that I earn inside my business and outside my business. I count money that, I count lots of different bits of money, okay? But it's anything that comes into a bank account with my name on, or can go into a bank account with my name on, that counts. Because what can happen is I had a client and she was writing checks for £3,000 and they weren't getting paid. And she was like, why aren't they getting paid, Eloise? I feel like I'm doing all the things. And I said, how much have you got coming in? And she went, oh, 3,200 or something like that. I was like, well, the universe is like, I don't understand. You're asking me for £3,000, but you're already getting that and more. So, sometimes I think we really confuse the universe. The universe, like, well, I'll give you what you ask for. Like, but because you weren't aware of your what you had coming in. So make sure you know what you've got coming in, okay? So that the universe isn't like, oh, I don't know what you want from me. Okay, so where did I get to? Yeah, how to get it paid. So what I recommend is the best type of manifestation is an easy type of manifestation. Manifestation works better when it's easy, okay? Completely counterintuitive, because we're taught if you want more money, you've got to work harder, you've got to work more hours. You do not, okay? What I want you to do is to place your check somewhere that you're going to not even be aware of it, but somewhere that's in your eye line but not in front. So I have a little easel like this and I put my check on it. Now I don't have it in front of my screen here. I put it to the side, which is where I burn incense and things like that. So every day I'm sat at my desk, it's in my eye line, but it's not in my conscious eye line. Like, I can see it without looking at it. What that does is it warms up your subconscious mind, and it's beautiful. It helps the subconscious mind move from, oh, that's a bit of a stretch. Remember, we've got the tension, to, well, yeah, I've been looking at it so long, it's just normal. Yeah, when we expose our mind to things over and over again, it becomes the norm, and that's what this is doing. So it's just keeping it in your eye line, but not in your direct eye line. It's like at the corner of your eye. Another place you can put it is on your fridge. So every time you go to your fridge, which will be probably a couple of times a day, you'll see it. You can put it on your vision board if your vision board is somewhere that you can see it. Also, I know lots of you have planners, and I don't have one. Say this is a book. This is a good book, by the way. I recommend it. Business of Stories. You can, if it was a planner, you could put your check into the page that you are working on today, and then every time you open it, you're seeing that check. So what that does is it helps you cook away, it helps your check cook away in the background. Just trust that it's going to work, and just notice the opportunities that the universe presents for you. So I'll need to put my current check back up there, otherwise I'll get confused. So unhook from the how. Yes, you need to look at it, but you don't need to be like eyes on it. Like, it can be out of the corner of your eye. That will make it feel much easier. It will keep the energy high. It won't feel like any pressure. It won't be like, oh, I've got to sit and meditate on my check for like half an hour or an hour. There's none of that. It's just there in the background, right? Then what we need to do is wait until the date. preferably the day after. So this cheque is due to pay out, the one I'm looking at here is due to pay out on the 31st of October. The one I've got cooking away in the background is due to pay out on the 30th of September, so Friday. So on the date, I'm not going to do anything, okay, because there's still time. Yeah, one of the big mistakes I made when I was starting out was I got to like the 29th and I was like, oh, it hasn't been paid. But actually the next day I got a payment that made it up. So on the first day of the month, i.e. when you're going to write a new cheque, you then have to go looking for the money. Now you might be aware that the money's come in, that the cheque's been paid. Sometimes we do know that it's been paid early. But go and look, right? Don't just think, oh, it's going to be in my bank account. Where else might it be? Have you got another bank account? Have you got an email that someone's trying to send you some money? Have you got an invoice that you haven't sent out to a client yet that needs to be paid? Like, oftentimes we haven't seen where money is in our arena. And some people will say to me, oh, you know, it was close. It was like £200, but it wasn't quite there. I'd say, go and find that £200 because it's there. It's there. You just got to go and find it. You've missed it somewhere. So yeah, go and make sure you've looked everywhere. And remember, like, even if it doesn't get paid, you're going to get some really useful insight that will mean that future cheques get paid much more easily, okay? And you'll probably find that the very act of writing the cheque increases your money, okay? It might, maybe first couple of times it's not going to hit. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're one of those fast manifestors and it does. But I know I'm not, okay? So I don't want you to worry about it. Just keep going. Write another cheque. So there, what do we do on the first day of the month when we've looked for all our money and we've realised, holy cow, this has been paid. This works. Well, what you do is a crazy happy dance and you celebrate, okay? And that is easier for some money archetypes than others. If you don't know your sacred money archetype yet, let me know. I'll share the link. It's a free assessment. I am a ruler. And so what that means is we don't celebrate. We just move on because, like, it's a fluke. It will never happen again. You know, how are you going to repeat that? And I have to have a chat with myself about celebrating and just focusing on now rather than worrying about the future. And then remind her, my ruler, to unhook from the how. We don't need to know how. The universe is going to show us. Yeah. Others of you, so for example, a romantic will be like, oh my goodness, I've got all this money, I'm going to go and spend it to celebrate, okay? That's not great either because, like, what about the rest of the month? Our archetypes are brilliant, but we have to balance them out. They all have amazing sides and sides that you think, oh, probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, lovely, Cassandra. I will send you the link for that. Now, what do we do with the cheque when it gets paid? Well, there's a couple of things, and it's whatever you feel drawn to do. I've tidied my drawers and I can't find a damn thing. In my drawer somewhere, there is a little folder of cheques that have been paid, and it is a lovely stack. It's a lovely stack. I've been doing these for a few years now. And I would say that I get, sometimes they're every month, and then I drop back for a couple of months and then I go again. But the majority of months I get them paid. And I just put them there and I write on the back of them, thank you, thank you, thank you. I draw love hearts all over them. I write a little love letter to the universe for paying it. And then I keep it. And whenever I feel like, oh, money manifestation is really hard, I go and look at this folder of things, including my cheques, that remind me it gets to be easy and it gets to be fun. And I am a powerful manifester when I'm in the right vibration. Now, other people like to burn things. I too like to burn things. And so if you want to burn it so that you've cleared the space for your next cheque, that's absolutely fine. You send it away with love, you know, however you want to do it. Whatever you feel drawn to do. And what I mean by that is just trust. You know, if keeping it feels off, then do whatever it is you feel you need to do. Okay. Now, what to do if it doesn't get paid? First and most important is do not give up. Double check that you've looked everywhere. Look everywhere. Where have you missed some money? Okay. You will find some more money. But there are occasions where the magic cheques don't get paid. And that's okay. ask yourself, ask the universe, what is it that stops that money coming to me? What block, story, belief, or pattern am I holding on to that I need to let go of? And maybe it was just that the number was too high, in which case you might want to play around with the numbers, but really listen or sense, really feel into what that check is showing you. Okay, now one of the lovely ladies in the circle had a bit of a bum run after having huge success with checks, and she had, I think it was 2 months where the checks weren't getting paid, and we worked together, and my goodness, we uncovered a huge money block. We worked on healing it, and she went from struggle to having, I think she said it was like 18 new clients in a week. Like, clearing that block just enabled her to attract more money, and her magic checks got paid. Like it was just insane once we figured it out. And it was her magic check that caused her to sit and think about and dive deeper on what was causing this issue. Okay, like I said, like, we all have the power of manifesting whatever amount of money that we want, but we have these blocks, and those blocks come in the form of sabotages. They can come in the form of pushing money away. They can come in the form of like failing to notice. But so many things, and that's what the work is, you know. And as you clear more and more blocks, you get more and more money, so that more and more money becomes your new normal. Okay, and you know, my new normal is so far away from where it was. And it's just a fact now. It's not like, oh, how am I going to do that? It's just a fact that that's my minimum. You know, it's beautiful. So if it doesn't get if it doesn't get paid, what I recommend is writing. Just write what you feel. I feel so disappointed, but what is it that I'm not seeing? Okay, and what I like to do is burn it, but you have to make sure that you burn it or destroy it with love, because it is showing you something that is going to change your life, and you have a choice at that point. You can either give up, or you can keep going and keep learning to make a difference. Okay, because I promise you this works. It just takes a bit of practice. So I burn it in, I have a selection now of cauldrons. I burn it in a cast iron cauldron. You might want to shred it, you might want to rip it up, you might want to screw it up. But whatever you do, firstly, make sure it's safe. So don't burn it in your house unless it's safe to do so and you're watching it. But also make sure you send it off with love, okay? Send it off with love, because you know what you put out comes back. So if you still haven't had the realization, still send it off with the open mind that you're going to get that realization. Okay, if you shred it or rip it or screw it up, and actually if you burn it, make sure the ashes and the remnants, the shreds, the screws, the rips, whatever, take it out of your environment. Okay, so if you do that in your house, take it outside. You might want to bury it, you might want to chuck it in your wheelie bin, you might want to chuck it in your neighbour's wheelie bin. But whatever it is, you want the remnants to be out of the house so that you can clear the energy for the next check. And that is the next most important thing to do, is write another check. Keep practicing, keep doing it. And I'm the first to admit that with all of the things that I teach here, sometimes I take them for granted and I stop doing them. And when I stop doing them, I'm like, why is my manifestation slow? Why didn't that happen this month? And I'm like, oh, it's because I didn't write a check. I didn't do my money magic foundations. You know, I wasn't doing my gratitude, things like that. I'm not perfect, and we don't expect you to be perfect either. It's imperfect action that gets us manifesting regularly. Okay, so that is magical manifestation check training. I will send links to those of you that have commented, but I will also put the links below this video as well, so that you can get your hands on everything. Okay, now if you enjoyed this training, let me know how you get on. Also, let me know if you'd like me to do any other training. I've got lots of things. Obviously, there's a lot that I do that's in my paid communities, in the academy and the circle. And if you want details on that, just let me know. just to let you know, I've got a couple of things coming up. Friday is my first live event. Woo! I'm very excited, bit nervous, but very excited, with 30 lovely ladies coming to join me, and it's actually called A Day of Money Loveliness. So it was a sold out event, and I'm super excited. Following on from that, next week I'm going to be out of action for a little bit. It's nothing to worry about. I'm going to be out of action for a bit, so I'll be a little quieter, but Gemma will be around in the group, and I will be popping in because I'm sure I'll be bored out of my brain. But I will be back to full speed towards the end of October. Going into November, we have our very first live free 5-day challenge, okay, and it's called Magnify Your Money. If you aren't in it yet, let me know. I'll drop you a link. Get in. It's free. It's 5 days of money loveliness. It's about understanding where you are of your relationship with money and how you can magnify that going forwards. It's going to be epic. Again, I'm a little bit nervous. It's the first one that I've ever done, so I'd love your support there. And check out the Money Musings. There's a podcast coming soon. There's so much coming soon. Like, I felt like I've been quiet the whole of August, but there's so much in the pipeline. And yeah, just drop me a message if you want to share anything. And any questions, write the comments under here and I'll come back to them. But have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you found that useful. Happy manifesting, and I'd love to know your success stories. Take care.